Hey everyone, this is Chase Campbell, and today we're going to be talking over how to be able to soak and ferment grains or casserole grains. So when I'm talking about that, that's like barley, rice, and wild rice, and anything else that fits into that category. So we have the porridge, which is the porridge grains, which is inside another video, and then we have the casserole grains, which is this video, which just means ones that we end up cooking and they end up turning into casserole, so a lot thicker. The porridge is a little more of a porridge or sludge, so that would be like teff, or that would be like grits. Those are a little bit more porridge grains. So let's go ahead and jump into it, and we're going to be showing how to be able to prep it, to be able to start soaking, and then we're going to be showing how to be able to cook it, so we know the process on that. Alright, so what we're going to start off with is that we're going to start off with setting this up, and we're going to start getting the water going. But first I'm going to give you the ratios of what we're going to be using for this. So the ratio for soaking is 1 cup rice, or any other, so barley, wild rice, or anything else. And then it's going to be 2 cups of water, and then it's going to be 2 tablespoons of your neutralizer. So your neutralizer, once again, it's whey, yogurt, kefir, buttermilk. So those are all acidic bases. Or you can also use apple cider vinegar and lemon juice. So anything that has an acidic base you can use. I like using the more dairy products just because I feel like they taste better for me. They add a little bit better of taste. The apple cider vinegar and lemon juice, not so much. But you can make that decision depending upon your own dietary restrictions or your own preferences, of course. So we're going to go get started with that. And a real quick freebie, something a little fun to really get this into your head about the ratios, is that you remember it's 1, 2, 2. That's the ratio. And so you can think about it as if you're dancing. So it's like a waltz. So you go 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Alright, you get it? So I promise you, if you actually get up and you actually do this with me, alright, we're going to do 1, 2, 2. This is going to stick much, much easier for you. Ready? It's going to be 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Alright, great job everybody. Let's get started. So we're going to, got my 2 cup measuring, and I got my water right here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up to the 2 cup measurement. Perfect. And then I'm going to warm up the water. So I'm going to stick it in my pan. Then I'm going to turn it on. I should put on 5 or 6 or 7, just depends on how quickly you want it. It's not going to take very long for this to warm up. So why do we warm up the water? Reason behind warming up the water is that we want to be able to give our grains an environment that's warm, that allows for it to be able to open up and to be able to relax. So think about yourself. If someone took you and stuck you inside of a warm bath, you would probably just relax. Wow. Oh, this is so nice. Warm bubble bath. Just relax and you open up. But if someone took you and stuck you inside an ice bath, whoa, you'd be very cold, very frozen, you'd very much tighten up. That's the same way with the grains. They are in a dormant state right now. And so if we put them in cold water, then they would continue to seize up and they wouldn't open up at all. But if we give them warm water, then they're actually going to start opening up and be like, oh, this is awesome. It's going to relax. The shell's going to relax. Because in there is a seed, and has an ability to sprout itself. And that's what we're trying to help it do, is kind of open up and sprout itself. So the more we can get it to open, then the easier it's going to be for us to be able to digest it, and the easier it's going to be for us to actually cook it, and for our neutralizer to be able to do its work. All right, awesome. So we got that. And now we're going to go ahead and put our grains inside of our jar. Once again, I recommend mason jars just because they are really handy, easy to use, and they don't take up a lot of counter space or shelf space really either. And you can reuse them all the time. They are my favorite. So here we go. I've got some long grain rice, brown rice right here. Gonna fill this up. Just 1 cup, so that's just the basic ratio. Let's go. 1 cup whole brown rice. I'm gonna take it. I like to cut my hand to let it drop in. It's kind of like a funnel. Doesn't work as well as a funnel. If you have a funnel, I recommend using it. See, because I split some right over here. Move those over. Get as much as I can. I'll pick up the rest later. So we got our 1 cup right here. All right. And then we're gonna go ahead and put in our 2 tablespoons of neutralizer or acidic base. So what I have for us today is some homemade buttermilk. This is something that I made from when I was making butter. You can make it too. You can also get it commercially from the store, and that'll work too, as long as it's cultured buttermilk. All right, so we're gonna put 2 tablespoons in. 1 and 2. There you go. Perfect. Put it on the lid. Set that over there. All right, now we got that. Let's check our water. Ooh, it's all warm. We're good to go. So I'm gonna turn that off now and take this, and I'm going to pour it all over my grains. Inside there. Mixing. Now we don't want it too warm. We don't want it like boiling hot. You just want it warm enough that you can just feel it, and it's totally fine. Feel it and it's totally fine. And so just to keep your finger in there, and it's not going to kill the neutralizer. All right. So now once you have that, what we're going to do, what you're going to do with that is that we're going to put the lid on it. All right, just like that. We're going to swish it around. I apologize for the phone ring, by the way. That was not meant to happen. And then we're going to let it sit. So let me bring that back. We're going to let this sit out on our counter for 12 to 24 hours. And it's just going to soak. So what this process is going to do is that around these grains is there is phytic acid and other anti-nutrients that don't allow you to be able to absorb all the nutrients out of the grain. And also it makes it hard for you to be able to digest it. This acidic base inside there, our buttermilk and the warm water, helps to open it up and break it down. So we're breaking down this phytic acid and the other anti-nutrients, and it's also pre-digesting the grain for you, so that once it gets to your gut or your digestive system, it's already pre-digested, so your gut's like, oh, this is so much easier for me to digest. I can actually get all the nutrients that I need to get out of it. And then boom, you're feeling good, and you're able to digest it, and things are much better. Trust me on this one. Actually, don't trust me. Try it yourself. All right, we're gonna stick that over here. We're gonna move over to the other one. So this is the one that I've already prepped. It's all good to go. So this is my grains, my other rice. So what we're going to do after you're done soaking it, so this is a bigger batch. This was actually 3 cups and 6 cups of water. So you can change it up. So if you want to do a bigger batch, just use the same ratios and then just add them together and you make it up. Easy as that. So what you're going to do is you don't need to strain it. You don't do anything to do it you don't need to strain it or anything. So you're just going to take it and you're just going to dump it in. There you go. Perfecto. I'm just going to grab a spatula here. I'm going to scrape out the rest. There we go. Perfect. All right, we put that back. Now we have it in here. We are going to start it up. And we're going to bring it up to a boil. So I just turn it up to as highest temperature I can. So I'm on 9 on mine. You can do whatever yours. We just want to bring up to a rolling boil. All right. So we're going to get that going right now. It's going to take a little bit. It's going to take a minute. All right, everyone. So our rice is now coming up to a boil. So we got a nice little foam coming up here on the top. Now, what this foam is that it is actually called scum. So scum is pretty much, hear me out, pretty much it is the debris that hasn't been cleaned off of the grains. We clean them as much as we can, but sometimes things are still left on the grain. So the scum, and it's also, think about it, it's also like the phytic acid that's been stripped off, and the other anti-nutrients that we're trying to get off of the grain, that's also what's floating up here. So we have these little bubbles that you're going to see as it starts to boil, and that's what we actually want to take that off. So this is called skimming the scum, and that's what we're going to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to get yourself a cup, okay? Or you can get like a measuring thing as well, measuring cup as well. Alright, so now our rice has come to a boil. We got a nice little rolling boil here. And so I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit since we've got it up to a real nice boil. Not too much, because we still want it to be able to keep going for a little while. So what we have on here is we actually have some bubbles now that have appeared. And what that is actually scum. And so there is a process that we do, it's called skimming the scum. We do it off of the rice. So what scum is actually the debris off of the rice, because they clean it as much as they can before it gets to the store. But there's always can be a little bit of scum debris that can be left on it, and so therefore when soaked and when boiled, it will come off. The scum is also that phytic acid and also those other anti-nutrients that we're trying to get off of the grain. And so that's floating up to the top. So we want to get that out because we don't want to put that into our bodies. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a cup, or you can take a measuring cup if you like. And what we're going to do is we're going to skim off the scum. So there's two ways you can do this if you want. So you can get two different things. You can just use a regular spoon. This is one that everyone has at their home. You just take it, we'll get it in there, and then we'll get the scum. You can see those bubbles right there, and you'll put it in there. Back in, right into your cup, and then you do it again. Skim, right there, into the cup. Now, another method you can use, and this is the one that I like to use personally, is that I have a nice little skimmer here. It's a fine mesh skimmer, so I can actually put it through the water, so I'm not going to pick up any of the water itself, and then I'll be able to but the foam's going to come off. So watch, I'm going to skim. See that foam is just right there, and you just tap it, it comes right off. So this is my favorite way of doing it because I'm not going to lose any of that precious water that I have in there. So I'm going to finish skimming the scum here. There we go. Perfect. That's looking good. You only get so much. If there's a little around the edges, try to skim it around the edges, but you can only get so close. So there you go. So that's looking good. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that to the side. And then I'm going to add in some fat. Oh, fat you say? Yes, fat. So we're going to cook this with fat. So the reason behind that is normally when we eat rice or grains or anything like that, they're carbohydrates and they turn into glucose. And so when we first initially break them down in the body, they turn into that glucose. And then the body shoots it out to your bloodstream, and that's what causes a lot of the blood sugar spikes in people. So for people who are diabetic and such. So we add fat to our grains and our carbs, because what happens is that fat covers or coats around that carbohydrate. And so when we digest it, and your body goes to start breaking it down, then it starts to break down the fats. And fats get broken down slower than carbohydrates. And so if it's coated, then it's going to slowly start working away the fats, and it's going to continue down, and so the carbohydrates are going to be broken down at little by little as well. So therefore it's going to be a more steady, slower stream of the carbohydrates and glucose. And so therefore it's not going to cause that high blood sugar spike inside of you. and that's very helpful. It's also not going to cause a lot of the storing of the fat that this happens with glucose, because that's what your body stores to make the fat stores inside your body. So that's why we're going to add that to this, just to be able to make sure that we can stop that from happening. All right, reach over here, get another spoon. Okay, so for a regular one, you're going to put 2 to 3 tablespoons of fat into your rice dish that you're making. All right, so this I have actually 3 cups, so I'm going to put in a lot more. Probably around like 6. I'm a very pro-fat person. I love fat. And today what I have is actually got some FatWorks ghee. Again, it's a goat ghee actually. It's so delicious. Never tried it? Tried it. I love FatWorks. It's grass-fed, well-sourced. They do a great job. All in glass. I love them. One company for fats that I definitely trust when it comes down to it. I'd buy this over pretty much anyone's unless I make it myself at home. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in. I'm just kinda globbing it. So glob. There you go, that's probably like 3. Probably call that good right there. Just 2 big spoonfuls. Once again, you can measure yourself. Okay, 2 to 3 tablespoons is what I recommend. Really get it going. I'll probably just use the spoon because I want to mix it in. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Alright. Mix that baby in. Get it all melted. And when it cooks, it is going to smell delicious. It's going to have that nice buttery flavor or fat flavor. And you can use other fats. So you can use butter, you can use tallow, you can use lard, you can use coconut oil if you want. Some coconut rice. It's delicious too. So any kind of good saturated fat. Don't use any monounsaturated or polyunsaturated. There are no vegetable oils in here. No olive oils of any sort. Okay, this is too high of a temperature for any of those. You're gonna rinse-idify it, and it's gonna be bad for your health. Okay, saturated fats. That's what we're looking for. All right, I mix it around. Looking good. It's still boiling. That's what we want. And now that it's boiling, we're going to take our lid and we're going to put it on top. All right, just wait a couple of seconds, and then we're going to reduce it down to low on your stove, and we're going to let this sit and cook for 45 minutes to an hour. Now, a little thing about soaking process. So the longer you soak your grains, the quicker they will cook. All right, let's say it again. The longer you soak your grains, the quicker they will cook for you. So these have soaked for over 24 hours, and so therefore these are actually going to cook up a lot quicker than if I had just soaked it for 12 or for 24, just because this is over 24. And so this is probably taking about the 45 minutes. Now I do have to let all the water be able to be cooked out and such like that, and I'm going to let that do it, but it's going to give me such a nice soft consistency. And if you guys give it a try, you're going to see just how delicious that's going to taste. All right, so we're going to let this sit. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna see what it ends up looking like when it's all done. All right, everyone. So now our rice is all done and ready to go. I'm gonna take off the top. I'm gonna see. Ooh, got some beautiful looking rice here. I'll show it to you. You see that right there? Now, what's the determiner that your rice is done? So, what's your rice is done when it is all done cooking away all of the water that's in here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take either a spoon or fork, you're gonna look down, you're gonna see if there's any water left, okay? So you look down, you see if there's any. So one thing with when you add fats and such to your cooking, with your rice now, what you want to look for, and something not to be worried about, is that at the bottom, there probably will be some kind of liquid, but something that doesn't look clear, and that is actually gonna be your fats that you have down there. So in mine, I actually do have some liquids, as you can kind of see as I'm moving around. There's some liquids there. So that is actually that goat ghee that I put in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and mix it around, get it all good. Yeah. All right, and then what's actually recommended is about a teaspoon of salt per cup of rice. I'm going to turn this off now. Teaspoon of salt per the cup of rice that we're going to be soaking. And so with this today, I'm going to be adding 3 teaspoons of salt to this batch. So for me, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sprinkle it in. There we go. For myself. And I'm just gonna stir it into my rice. Make sure. So I'm not, see, 3 teaspoons, because I'm not trying to put a ton of salt on there. Other people can put their salt. Each person likes it differently. Some people like more, some people like less. So I'm not putting a lot on because I don't know what each person likes, in all honesty. So I'm just gonna mix it up, just like that. All right, and then what you'll do is you'll go ahead, grab yourself a little cup, a little something that you can use to be able to sample with. Take your spoon, boom. Plop it on in a cup real quick. I'm gonna grab another spoon from over here. You can blow on it, check it, and then sample your rice. And then that's it. You have a beautiful rice dish. And once again, this is where we get our casserole at. So this looks like more of a casserole. It's tougher, it's harder. We could put it inside of a casserole dish, almost bake it again and make something else, but it looks more of a casserole. While porridge is a little more liquidy substance, kind of like oats. Then it gels up. So there you go. That's how we make our rice. Good luck, guys. That's good.